I am unapologetically having a lazy evening. It's only 6:30 at night, and I've already laid my head down on my pillow because it has been such a long day. Happy Veterans Day to those who have served and those who supported those serving. My husband was in the military from 2006 until 2012. He was in the Navy, and he was an absolute badass. And we are super, super proud of him. He not only graduated at the top of his unit, in the top unit from boot camp, he went to the hardest A school in the Navy, graduated in the top 5%. Then he went to excel and win a couple of noms, or earn a couple of noms in the Navy, which are Navy Achievement Medals. It's a really big deal. He also got a letter of commendation from the captain, and he left honorably discharged at the end of his 6-year service. So he signed on for 6 years with a possible 6 years active, 2 years inactive. And what that means is for 2 years after he finished active duty, he lived as a civilian, but could be called back into service at any point in time should they need him. But he didn't actually do anything during that time because thankfully they didn't need him. I was with him the whole time from when he enlisted till he went to boot camp, till he was out. I ended up moving to Chicago right after I went the day before he graduated boot camp. And I was there until about a week or 2 weeks prior to him finishing his BEC, which is basic engineering. I forget. But anyway, that was his A school. And then we went to his command together. And originally he was going to re-enlist, and it was just nuts. And so, because he was forward deployed. So what that means is that he deployed every year for 6 years, and it was insane. And so that's why we chose to get out, because his best year, he was home for 2 months at a time that year. And his worst year, he was home the very first week of that year and the very last week of that year. That was it, the entire year. And normally in the Navy, you're home a little bit more than that, but on the West Coast, most are forward deployed. So they're going to deploy every year, but they also have trainings, and they have underways, and they have duty days, and that all varies depending on the size and function of the ship. But let's just say he was gone a lot. And he was on the best frigate for where he was stationed. And so anytime there was something to do, that frigate was called out. And it was just a well-run ship and well taken care of, even though it was one of the oldest ones. And it was just wild. It was a wild time. We felt like we lived 10 to 15 years in those 6 years of military service. And while I am so grateful for the things that we learned and were able to do and experience because of his military service, I am also super, super grateful that we are done and don't have to go back to that way of life anymore. And we have been since August 27th, 2012, we have been enjoying the civilian lifestyle. Anyway, today we participated in the our town's Veterans Day Parade, which was super fun. We did it from my husband's workplace and just had an absolute blast. My personal favorite part was seeking out all the Vietnam veterans in the crowd and thanking them for their service, because if you're not familiar, they are one of the most underserved and underappreciated types of veterans. And they were just treated absolutely horrifically when they came home from Vietnam. And just they're not thanked enough. They're not thanked enough. And I could go on and on and on about it, but look into it for yourselves. And the next time that you see someone who is a veteran or a family member of a veteran, thank them for their service. It means the world to them. It really does. I know I thanked my husband 1,000 times and he goes, I don't want it. I don't need the recognition. But whenever somebody else thanks him, he's like, that means so much to me. But I feel guilty saying it. But it does. It does mean a lot to veterans to hear that. So say it. Say thank you. Mean it. Do something nice for the veteran in your life. And it's a little bit controversial. But I used to hear people say, screw the troops. That was literally my job. That was literally my job for 6 years. I think I did it well. We ended up with 4 kids. All right. Anyway, happy Veterans Day 2024. Love you guys, but more importantly, God loves you.